Hello. In this recording, I'll be covering the biological, emotional, and social aspects of sexual health as part of Orange County Department of Health Sexual Health Coalition Education Series. Information presented includes content on gender and orientation, relationships, and mental health. Our first topic is gender and orientation. Sex versus gender. So, what are their differences? Sex is defined as the hormonal, chromosomal, and anatomical factors that make one male, female, or intersex. Gender is a broad category that includes characteristics, identity, expression, and roles, and we'll get more into that in the next couple of slides. Sex defined at birth is usually based on the child's external anatomy, and intersex describes chromosomes, anatomy, or sex characteristics that cannot be categorized as exclusively male or female. As you can see there on the bottom, intersex is in between the male and female gradient. On this slide, we have some gender definitions. You may be already familiar with some of these terms. So cisgender is a person whose gender identity matches their sex assigned at birth. So for example, someone who is born female and identifies as a female. We also have gender non-binary, and that refers to a range of gender identities that are not strictly male or strictly female. Similar terms are genderqueer or gender fluid. Transgender or trans refers to a person whose gender identity or gender expression does not match their sex assigned at birth, is independent of sexual orientation. We have queer. Queer is an identifier for individuals and or the community of people who are not cisgender heterosexual. And historically, it has been a derogatory term and is now being reclaimed by the LGBT and gender nonconforming community as a self-affirming term. And then we have questioning, and questioning refers to someone who is questioning or exploring their sexual orientation, gender, or gender expression. And then lastly, we have gender nonconforming, which refers to those whose gender expression does not fit neatly into a category and do not conform to the traditional expectations of their gender. Gender terminology can be challenging to navigate. Here is a breakdown of some of those terms. Gender identity is this innate feeling of being male, female, or neither. It does not necessarily correspond to the sex assigned at birth. Gender expression is the way you express yourself through clothing, grooming, behavior, or interests. For example, a person's chosen name and pronoun are common ways of expressing gender. Gender roles are a way of appearing and behaving that meet cultural expectations based on an individual's gender. For example, girls and women are expected to dress in a typically feminine way and be polite, while men are expected to be strong, aggressive, and bold. Gender norms are standards for specific genders. Gender norms are standards for specific behaviors. It is a social role that encompasses a range of behaviors and attitudes that are generally considered acceptable and appropriate. An example of this is the expectation of a girl to become a housewife and care for her family. Sexual orientation is an individual's identity in relation to the gender or gender to which they are sexually attracted. This is different from a person's gender identity. So on this slide, we have some orientation definitions. You may be familiar with some of these terms. The first one we have is lesbian. So this is a term for women who are attracted to other women. Gay is a term for men who are attracted to other men. Bisexual is someone who is romantically and or sexually attracted to people of both genders. Pansexual is a term for those who can feel an attraction to anyone, including individuals who do not identify as a specific gender. Queer is a synonym for not straight, and this is a great umbrella term for people across a spectrum of sexual orientations. Then we have questioning, which refers to someone who is questioning or exploring their sexual orientation, gender, or gender expression. And an individual who identifies as asexual has little to no interest in sexual contact with other people. This illustration is by TSER, which is a trans student organization, and it makes it a little bit easier for us to understand gender identity, gender expression, and sex. Gender identity and expression, or sex assigned at birth, and who we are physically and emotionally attracted to vary from person to person. Gender identity can be female, woman, girl, male, man, or boy. Gender expression can be feminine, masculine, or somewhere on the spectrum. Sex assigned at birth could be female, male, or intersex, and who we are physically and emotionally attracted to can include women, men, or another gender. There are many challenges that LGBTQI youth face in our society, and it's important we create a safe place, a place where they feel respected, supported, and comfortable to be themselves. So, how can we create that safe place? What we can do is safely intervene when we hear homophobic language, when someone is being bullied, listen, be conscious of biases, and most importantly, become an ally. We all need a friend and to feel supported. What we do not need to make is assumptions, make fun of the way someone expresses themselves, and use language like, that's so gay, or out someone. Our next topic is relationships. So, what is a healthy relationship? A healthy relationship is based on one, communication, and this means talking to your partners without fear. Two is respect, making sure that your partner's values, wishes, and feelings are important and respected. Three is discussion. Discussion is talking it out and making sure that you communicate and come to a mutual agreement. And four, support. In a healthy relationship, it is important to build and support each other. Respectful communication. Respectful communication involves using correct pronouns and names, not assuming someone's behavior or identity, and apologizing and correcting yourself whenever you make mistakes. It is important that we practice this. Next, we're going to talk about power and control and how they're centered in certain abusive relationships. We'll be going through all these different topics around the wheel. Relationship violence can include many types of abuse, including physical abuse, which is kicking, hitting, biting, pushing, or any other type of action that causes physical harm or pain. Economic abuse, which includes withholding or controlling finances from a person. Intimidation, which may include making someone feel unsafe, displaying weapons, or stalking. Using children or pets as an attempt to control a person or by threatening their safety. Some people may use privilege, which could include gaslighting a person or using their status as a means of control. Sexual abuse, which includes making a person do something that they don't want to do and not acknowledging a person who is asking or telling a person to stop. Or use weapons, substances, threats, or other forms of control to force a person to have sex. Threats, which could be threatening to hurt you, someone you care about, or themselves. And isolation, which could look like controlling where a person goes or who they see, removing a person from their support systems, or limiting outside involvement. All of these types of abuse have power and control at the core of their motivation. Intimate partner violence. Factors that may increase the risk of victimization of young people include culture of acceptance. So, in our society, we place blame on victims of sexual assault. Many times, the victims do not speak up because of rape culture. Rape culture is an environment in which rape is prevalent, in which sexual violence, specifically against women, is normalized and excused in the media and popular culture. Rape culture is perpetuated through the use of misogynistic language, the objectification of bodies, and the glamorization of sexual violence, thereby creating a society that disregards women, their rights, and their safety. Another risk factor is lack of support. Lack of support may decrease a person's access to process the situation, receive information and education around relationships, and it limits their opportunities to receive help and assistance. Some young people may be providing for their families, so access to affordable housing, food, and transportation are protective factors against violence. And finally, glamorization of a lifestyle or what is valued in society may play a role in young people initially seeking out opportunities to have their desires met. So, education around healthy relationship is important. Warning signs. One of the biggest indicators of abuse or other trauma is a change in school performance. This could look like a drop in grades, or attendance, or acting out of school. Changes in behavior, such as becoming more withdrawn or having issues with boundaries, as well as a change in appearance, are also indicators. Next, we move on to sexual harassment. Sexual harassment can include sexual comments, sexual gestures, discussions of sexual activity, pornography in text, notes, emails, and posts, or repeated requests for dates of sexual activity. Too often, these situations have been passed over as being a joke or just fooling around. Regardless of the intent, the recipient deems the impact of the behavior. As educators, it is our job to ensure a safe learning space for students, including being aware of and addressing sexual harassment. With social media platforms like Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok growing in popularity, cyberbullying is rising. Cyberbullying is a term for any kind of harassment, embarrassment, or bullying using the internet, cell phones, or other interactive technology. A teenager involved in cyberbullying can receive a misdemeanor cyber harassment charge or a juvenile delinquency charge. However, if hacking or identity theft is involved, it is a serious federal crime. It can either be done directly or indirectly. Examples include instant messaging or text messaging harassment. So, this would be sending mean messages to others, posing as the victim online, sending inappropriate photos or death threats, stealing passwords, and this would include behavior such as posing as the victim, editing the victim's online profile to include hateful information to offend others so they will not be friends with the victim, locking the victim out of his or her account, using websites that would insult others, posting other people's personal pictures or information, sending pictures through email and cell phones, so sending naked pictures of other teens, posting them online, uploading them on programs where people can download them, or all forms of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying has negative effects that can lead to sadness and depression, suicidal thoughts, suicide, low self-esteem, violence, or problems in school. So what can we do about cyberbullying? You can speak with a trusted adult about online experiences that make you feel uncomfortable. Save or print all cyberbullying evidence to show a trusted adult. Ignore minor bullying. They may be looking for attention, and if you respond to it, it will allow them to continue. Look into the privacy controls on the websites or messaging programs you use. You can control who sees your profile, who can contact you, and more. And if you're not involved in cyberbullying, but you witness it happen, do something. Tell a trusted adult about what you saw and who was involved. And do not encourage the behavior by laughing at it or sending it to your friends. Cliques. Friendship groups are perfectly normal. They make you feel like you really fit in and belong. Friendship groups form because the people in them have something in common. For example, the jocks play sports together, the skaters skate together, and so on. However, when these groups are restrictive and will not let other people be part of their friendship group, then it is a clique. Cliques sometimes have strict rules and specific ways of acting. Cliques like to show off how popular they are. Sometimes cliques hurt others by excluding them or by picking on them. There are positives and negatives. Cliques can make people feel like they belong, feel protected, and supported. However, cliques can also be cruel to the people outside of the group, can make you conform to other people in your clique, and members can make you feel excluded from your group. There are a few ways we can deal with cliques at school. Understand your values. Ask yourself, do you actually want to be part of this clique that picks some people? If you are in a clique, don't let them pressure you into doing things you don't want to do. If you're feeling excluded from a clique, participate in other activities where you feel like you belong. If you like to run, join a running club. If you're part of a friendship group, don't exclude people the way cliques do. Make everyone feel like they can hang out with you and your friends. If your friendship group starts to act like a clique, speak out and tell them it's not okay. Our last topic in this section is consent. Consent is agreeing to participate in something. For example, sexual consent is agreeing to engage in sexual acts with someone. It's pretty much like saying yes to someone who's asking you if you want to do something sexual with him or her. It is really important to talk to your partner beforehand about what you're comfortable doing. Consent is voluntarily given every time and it can be withdrawn. It cannot be given when one is under the influence, passed out, unconscious, sleeping, under direct or implied threat, or has a disability that impacts understanding. Consent is always freely given, reversible, informed, enthusiastic, and specific. In our last section, we will cover mental health. Body image is multifaceted. It includes how you perceive your appearance when you look in the mirror. It also involves how you feel about your body. A healthy body image means recognizing the individual qualities and strengths that make you feel good about yourself, beyond weight, shape, or appearance, and resisting the pressure to strive for the myth of the perfect body type that you see in the media, online, and in your communities. Body image and self-esteem directly influence each other, and your feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. If you do not like your body or a part of your body, it is hard to feel good about your whole self. The reverse is also true. If you do not value yourself, it is hard to notice the good things and give your body the respect it deserves. As you can see, good body image, self-esteem, and mental health are not about making yourself feel happy all the time. They are really about respecting yourself and others, thinking realistically, and taking action to cope with problems or difficulties in healthy ways. Poor body image. As you can see, the problem with negative thinking and feelings is that once people start to focus on shortcomings in one area, it becomes very easy to see only problems in many other areas. Negative thinking has a way of leading to more negative thinking. So having a poor mental health can lead to poor body image and to low self-esteem. So how can I encourage a healthier body image? People with positive body image see themselves as who they truly are. They appreciate their natural body and value their uniqueness. People with positive body image also feel confident and comfortable and have high self-esteem, so it's important to practice treating your body with respect. Eating well-balanced meals, exercising, appreciating all that your body can do, looking at yourself as a whole person instead of focusing on a singular part, surrounding yourself with positive people, wearing clothes that are comfortable, that make you feel good, keeping a list of things that you like about yourself, and being mindful of the messages you hear and see in the media can help encourage a healthier body image. Having a poor body image and low self-esteem can lead to depression. Depression is a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest. It's also called a major depressive disorder or clinical depression. It affects how you feel, think, and behave and can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems. Some of these symptoms include feeling overwhelmed or hopeless, loss of interest, weight gain or loss, increase or decrease in appetite, anger, irritability, insomnia, which is not sleeping enough, and hypersomnia, which is sleeping too much, extreme fatigue, withdrawal from certain people but not everyone, feelings of guilt, frequent crying, substance abuse, self-harm, such as cutting or burning or other acting out behaviors, poor academic performance, lack of concentration, and thoughts of death and suicide. Knowing what can raise your odds of depression may help you get the best medical care when you need it. These risk factors can include dealing with issues that negatively affect self-esteem, such as peer problems, long-term bullying, or academic problems, having experienced recent stressful life events such as a parental divorce, parental military services, or the death of a loved one. Genetics also plays a huge role. Being gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender in an unsupportive environment. And abuse. Past physical, sexual, or emotional abuse can cause thoughts of worthlessness or suicide. We can try to manage these feelings by maintaining relationships with our family and friends and talking to them about our feelings. Seeking help if we're feeling overwhelmed and stressed out. These would be your teachers, coaches, and doctors. Asking your parents to schedule an appointment for you to talk to a therapist. Staying social even when you really do not want to can help you manage your feelings. Not hanging out with friends who aren't making good choices. Friends who are drinking, doing drugs, or skipping school are not the friends who will make you feel better. Physical exercise and a nutritious diet. Avoiding drinking and drugs are all ways that you can manage your feelings. Next, we move on to anxiety. Experiencing occasional anxiety is a normal part of life. However, people with anxiety disorders frequently have intense, excessive, and persistent worry and fear about everyday situations. Often, anxiety disorders involve repeated episodes of sudden feelings of intense anxiety and fear or terror that reach a peak within minutes. They're also known as panic attacks. These experiences can include negative thoughts, what ifs, thoughts about being judged or embarrassed, small thoughts that grow into big worries, feelings of fear, dread, panic, or worry, and physical sensations like the urge to cry, butterflies, dizziness, nausea, or rapid heart rate, nail biting, avoidance of social situations, sweating, trembling, and difficulty breathing are all signs of anxiety. How can I manage my anxiety? Anxiety can be managed by finding something that truly relaxes you. This may look like journaling, hiking, listening to music, or meditating. It'll be different for everyone, but having something positive to focus on will make the anxiety feel less overwhelming. Making sleep, food, and exercise a priority, spending quality time with friends and family, and taking persistent feelings of anxiety seriously and discussing it with a trusted adult can help you manage your feelings of anxiety. Thank you for listening to this presentation. If you have any questions, please send an email. If you have any questions that you would like to be answered anonymously, please scan the QR code on the Sexual Health Coalition poster and it will take you to a Google form. Thank you.